When I was a junior in college, like a lot of young men, I wanted to be an investment banker. That's what looked like power and prestige. So I got this investment banking internship, and it was absolutely miserable. They had this saying that is so funny in hindsight. They said, if you don't come to work on Saturday, don't bother coming back on Sunday. Like, just the culture of it was work 100 hours a week. Just go nuts with it. And I hated it. I hated every single second of it, and I had to leave. But it wasn't because I was not into hard work. I think I was absolutely willing to work hard. I just didn't want anyone to tell me to do it. And so when I became, not necessarily financially independent, but I could have a job, it was more entrepreneurial. It was like, oh, I will work very hard. And sometimes I might work as hard as an investment banker. I might work 80 hours a week, but it's on my terms. And I think everyone is way more willing to do that than they are to be told what to do. I think that is an inherent human driver. And if you can use your money for independence to where you can wake up and say, I have the financial flexibility to work where I want, live where I want, retire when I want, take a different job, move to a different department, even if it's going to pay less. That giving yourself independence and autonomy, I think for most people is what's going to drive. That's the highest tool that you can use with money. And what's important about that is, where do you get independence with money? It's the things you don't spend money on. It's the car you didn't buy. It's the house you didn't buy. And most people will view that as like idle money. You're saving up money. It's just sitting in the bank doing nothing. No. It's giving you independence. And once you view as like every dollar that you don't spend is money that you are actually spending on independence. Companies have to manage their employees and whatnot. It's not a knock against that. But I think what's really true for independence and people, if they eventually move on to writing poetry and playing in their garden, whatever it might be, is that you leave on your own terms. That whatever your exit from your career was because you wanted to do it on your own terms. So the thing in psychology called the peak end rule, where to simplify it, minimalize it, a lot of how you remember any endeavor that you did in life, a career, a vacation, whatever it is how you felt at the very end. And for a lot of people, if you have a great career, you enjoyed your career, you helped people, you made money, your colleagues appreciated you, but then you got fired, or your boss came to you and said, you're too old to keep doing this. That's bad. You'll never recover from that. And you compare that to the people who quit on their own terms. They said, look, I'm proud of my career, but that's enough. I'm gonna take a step back and pass the baton to another generation. Those are the people who, even if they didn't really enjoy their career that much, will look back at it fondly, because it gets back to freedom and autonomy and control. Do you leave on your own terms, or are you forced out on somebody else's schedule?